welcome to today's movement class. For today, I do have a set of blocks as well as a pillow, just thinking of things to help support my space. So wherever you are, if you have some of those things that you can go ahead and grab and have nearby, they'll be an awesome little supplement for today's class. But whenever you have your space and what you need, we're gonna go ahead and start on our backs. And when coming into this position, on a very flat and probably firm surface, it may feel nice to have a blanket underneath us, or you're welcome to grab one of those pillows and place it behind your knees. You want this place where we begin to feel supportive, to feel effortless. You want to be in a space where you're able to fully let go, release, and surrender, and really feel the heaviness of your body on the ground beneath you. Arms can rest alongside your body to feel a nice, soft, subtle opening across the chest. Or if you feel comfortable with a little bit more connection to yourself, go ahead and rest the palms of your hands on that bottom corner of your rib cage to feel the rise and fall of the breath. The expansion and recoil of the rib cage. And focusing on that, on your breath, on what you feel show up, and giving yourself these first few moments to make any adjustments that you might need so you feel supported in your space. So if you wanted to add pillows, take away pillows. If you still feel any discomfort within the lowest part of your back, you can always slide the knees or slide the feet toward you, bend the knees, and bring that pillow underneath the lowest part of your hips to let the pelvis spill toward you a little bit and give your lower body some support by allowing those feet to go wide, knees to knock softly together. It's all about finding a space where you're able to achieve some degree of stillness and ease. You're not holding on to any tension to be where you are. And that might look different day to day, person to person. So adjust as you need. But the idea of starting in this space is to start in a bit of neutrality. So you can really see what shows up for your breath, for your body, for the muscles throughout your being, and see what needs a little extra attention. So this class is going to be focused on the pelvic floor and what shows up in that space, but there might be something else that shows up for you. So acknowledge that. But as you officially settle into your space and you notice your breath, we're going to just be a little bit more intentional about how we pull that air in and how we allow that air to be released out. So if your arms are resting alongside your body, go ahead and bring them toward your rib cage now. And then finish the breath that you're on. On your next inhale in, think of pulling that air in all the way through the nose, back of the throat, down into the chest, base of the rib cage and lungs, through the belly, the base of the pelvis, releasing through the hips. Maybe a little pause at the top. And then exhale, releasing the air the way it came, letting the belly lower, rib cage draw down with ease as the air is released, chest settles out through the nose. Inhale, pull that air in. Expand all the way from top to bottom, one little bit at a time, and then exhale, release it out. Inhale, pull it in. Feel that gradual expansion all the way down. Feeling that release, lengthen through the base of the pelvis, and exhale, we let it out, nice and slow. Inhale, fill up. Exhale, let it go. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, fill up, maybe trying to find a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Brief pause at the top. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Little pause at the bottom. Inhale, fill up. 3, 2, 1. Brief pause. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. 2 more rounds. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Come back into the rhythm of your own breath. If it's longer, wonderful. If it's just a count slower, that's okay. Just trying to keep that length in your breath, in that flow in and out, trying to draw that air in without force, all the way into the base of the pelvis, and just allowing those muscles to settle. Now we're going to start to find some movement, again, keeping with that pattern of breath. So wherever you are, go ahead and slide that pillow out from underneath you if you utilize that. But you're going to slide that right heel in toward your bottom, and then bring that knee in toward the chest, giving that right knee just a little hug. Giving yourself a moment to check in with the base of the pelvis. Did any tension arise when you tried to bring that leg in? And then starting off with a half happy baby. So you're going to grab hold of the pinky edge of that right foot. If you need to slide the opposite foot closer toward you, go ahead. But you're going to bring the sole of that right foot toward the sky as the thigh rests alongside the rib cage. And then again, taking that breath nice and low into the belly, into the base of the pelvis, into the back side of that right hip. That effort only rests in that right hand as it connects to that right foot. So breathing into that compression on that right hand side, just letting that left leg rest, again, whether it's bent or straight. And one more breath. Nice and easy, let that right foot come down toward the floor. And then switching sides. And bring that left knee in toward the chest, give it a little squeeze. As we kind of settle into that compression, if you want to extend that right leg long, go ahead. Just allowing some nice opening through the front side of that right hip. And as we find some compression on this side, tuning back into the hip and the pelvis, how does that compression feel on this side? Using your breath to ease your way in, but also to release any tension that arises or arose when you came into the space. And then finding half happy baby on this side. So bringing the hand to the pinky edge of that left foot, bringing the sole of the foot toward the sky. Breathing into this nice compression as that thigh tries to hug alongside the rib cage. If that right leg feels okay being straight out in front of you, go ahead and leave that there. But if you need a little bit of support for that low back to help spill that pelvis towards you just a little bit, go ahead and bend that right knee, foot flat to the floor. Continuing to take those inhales nice and low. Again, without force. Just letting those muscles in the belly relax and let go. We do not need the tension and the support, the gripping in that space here. One more breath. And slowly release that left foot to the floor. Feel free to do a little windshield wiper left to right. Just kind of massaging onto that low back. And then we're going to do happy baby with both sides. We're going to bring one knee into the chest at a time, just kind of cupping the kneecaps to keep that low back nice and soft. And then slowly bringing the hands toward the pinky edges of the feet. And then if just having those knees wide is what brings ease to your body here today, then just stay here. Or slowly bringing the soles of the feet up toward the sky as those thighs hug the rib cage and fall alongside the torso. And if gentle rocks left to right help bring a little softness into the space, you're welcome to do that, but let it come naturally to you. Don't force it. Again, the effort rests in the hands connected to the feet. So your head, the back of your head should be resting heavy onto the floor. Upper back is resting heavy onto the floor. So if you need a pillow under your head to bring comfort and support to the space, please do so. And then if finding stillness is available to you, just find that center. Feel the thighs settle heavy back toward you, toward the floor. Bringing that breath nice and low, so as you inhale in, feel the expansion, the lengthening through the front of the belly. That lengthening and opening through the base of the pelvis. Again, head, neck, jaw is relaxed. One more breath. Nice and slow, let those heels drop heavy toward the sit bones, and then bring those knees toward the chest. Then just cupping the knees and gentle rock left to right, releasing the muscles in the front of the hips, the low back. And then we're going to find a reclined butterfly here. So for a nice opening through the inner thighs and the front of the hips, I have a set of blocks with me. Not needed, but again, they bring a little bit of support, a little sneaky support if I do say so myself. Because if you have a lot of range of motion into that open position, it might feel nice, but there still could be a degree of tension resting in that really open space. So if you don't have blocks, you can use pillows. My blocks are not even the same, the same size, but, and also the degree of opening within the hips can also vary. So start by bringing the inner linings of the feet toward one another. Heels are close-ish toward the bum. And then if you have supports, drop those to the outer edges of your mat, and then allow those knees to fall open. So if those blocks feel nice, but you want to bring them on a higher height, you're welcome to do that as well. They don't have to support you at your biggest range, because I actually feel I have the range of motion to go further than this, but I actually feel more supportive with those blocks being at a higher height than I did before. Because that support can feel really nice on the low back. It can allow the pelvis to settle a little bit more, the low back to relax a little bit further. So don't underestimate the support of those blocks or something underneath your knees. And now this position here, this space here, does a nice job of opening the front side of the pelvis, those inner thighs, letting those muscles relax and release tension. It's a really great muscle group to support the pelvic floor. But also sometimes we just need a little bit of opening and length and breath to go through to the front side of the pelvis here. So again, hands can rest on the rib cage. They can rest down to the inner thighs, the lowest part of your belly, or to those inner thighs. They can be wherever you feel comfortable resting them. Sometimes if you have a harder time bringing that breath lower into your space, maybe those hands provide a nice little feedback of where you want that breath to go. If it's helpful to come back to that 4-count journey, maybe it's up to 5, maybe it's up to 6. But you're feeling that gradual rise with that inhale in, and then the exhale, you're feeling that gradual, fall down. So you're feeling that nice wave, that roll of the air down, that roll of the air back. Let's find 2 more breaths here in this space. And then nice and slow, start to find the pinky edge of the feet. Use the hands to the outside edges of the thighs and gradually draw those thighs in toward one another. Remove the blocks, place those over to the side, or pillows, whatever you use for support. If a windshield wiper feels nice for the low back, just feel a nice little oscillation of the knees side to side. And then slowly making your way onto one side. And then gently pressing yourself upright. Give yourself a moment. We were on the ground for a good bit of time, but hopefully that felt nice and gave you a nice little refresh for the base of the pelvis. But we're going to continue moving into that space. And so the next position that we're going to move into is, well, let's do puppy pose first. Let's introduce some of that hip flexion here in this space first. And so puppy pose is a really nice space to open and relax and release through the backside of the pelvic floor. So various ways that you can move into this space as well. And so starting in that tabletop position, you're going to bring the knees underneath the hips. If it feels nice to be a little bit wider, you can do that as well. Adjust to your body and the space that your body requires. And then from this space, you're going to walk your hands toward the top corners of the mat, and then you're slowly going to control that descent of the chest down toward the floor as the hips stay high and up and back behind you. Now, if this feels really big, especially for the chest, I encourage you to try to move into this space and gradually work your way down to the floor. But you can also drop those forearms down, palms flat down to the floor, and use that connection to gently send those hips up and back in space. So this can feel really nice as we focus that effort, that breath, to the back side of the pelvis. And we're envisioning that little triangle between the butt bones and the tailbone. So we want to relax through the belly as we pull that air in, and we want to think of sending the breath all the way to the low back into that triangle at the base of the pelvis. Now, if this position still feels really big, if you're there and it feels comfortable, stay there, continue with your breath. But if you have the availability to do so, you can bring a pillow underneath your belly, kind of bring it close to your hips, and then hug it underneath you as you drape your body over. And you can still come down onto forearms here To make it even more supportive, I'm going to bring a little block underneath my head. Support myself here. And breathe into this space. Now the sensations can be slightly different in the supported child's pose versus that puppy pose. Here in this space, you might feel a little bit more, because of that compression within the front body, you might be feeling a little bit more sensation across the upper part of that sacrum, that low back, versus lower within those butt bones. So it might just bring that sensation a little higher, but it still might feel quite nice for that low back. Regardless of where you are today, with every breath, we think of that release, that let go, that lengthening, opening, widening, whatever vision you have of that space. You're utilizing the breath to create movement. 2 more breaths here. Wonderful. Now slowly making your way up and out of your position. So using that press through the hands to gradually bring yourself upright. And then last but not least, we're going to work into frog pose. So we found opening in a variety of different positions. So the inner thighs, the back line of the hips, and now we're going to work even deeper into those inner thighs and the front side of the pelvis. So this is another big posture. So support yourself as you need. But I'm going to go ahead and face you, so you can have a good idea of the positioning that we're aiming to be in. So it is helpful to have a space where you feel like you're able to slide, to let those knees kind of glide out. It makes it just easier to come in and out of this position. But whatever space that you have, just adapt or modify as you need. But the way I like to kind of start into this space is to start into a tabletop and then slowly walk my knees out, using a little walk of the feet to help as well, to keep my feet and ankles in line with the knees. So we want that nice angle of knees in line with the hips and then ankles in line with the knees. So we have a variation of that 90-90 position, and just going as wide as you feel like you're able to maintain. So when coming into such a big posture, sometimes the sensation can be to an intensity where you feel like you're trying to like half pull and push yourself out of it. So you want to find that balance of being in a space that is opening, that is expansive, that does allow you to relax and settle in, but not so much so where you're fighting your body to be there, okay? So if you are high like me and your upper body gets tired, put blocks underneath your forearms or underneath your hands, underneath your forearms. So that takes the effort out of the upper body, and you might even notice that you're able to settle a little bit further into this space. And once you find your variation, you have the supports that you need. Sometimes I like to find a little bit of soft movement in and out of that posture. It helps you kind of tune into your body a little bit further. You notice my legs start to sneak out a little bit more as I begin to settle. Adjust those feet underneath the knees as you're able. But as you're in this space, the different directions that I'm playing with is shifting my hips back to the space between my heels, or coming out of it, shifting my hips forward. And then also playing with the tuck of the pelvis. So because this is a really big space to be in, with that pull of the inner thighs, you might notice that your pelvis wants to tilt forward down toward the floor. And notice if you try to lengthen through the tailbone, draw that tailbone toward the space between the heels, finding a little lift of those hip points, you might notice the sensation intensify. So that would be a posterior pelvic tilt of a posterior tilt of the pelvis. So what's going to intensify the situation, the sensation? It is a little bit of a situation, but tilting that pelvis back and sending the hips back, that'll intensify it. To let go of a little bit of sensation, maybe let this pelvis spill forward a little bit and shift the hips forward, all while listening to the body and the sensations that are showing up for you. Wherever you choose to be, same theme, pulling that air all the way down and into the belly, relaxing the muscles of the belly. Letting go. When we let go of the belly, you might notice that the pelvic floor automatically follows suit. A few more breaths. Close your eyes. You're welcome to close your eyes at any point during this little movement snack. Two more. Now, two options in getting out of this. If you're really low to the floor, if the idea of getting up and out of it feels like really big, you just shift your hips forward and kind of slither out of it. Otherwise, if you're down on your forearms, you gently press up one hand at a time, bring those toes toward one another, and then slide those knees underneath you. Feel free to wiggle the hips, left to right. Just kind of swaying from one hip to the next, bumping the hips one side to the next. All while staying with the breath. You don't want to leave an intense posture and just jump right back into your day. You want to maintain that level of ease within your body. Even if we're not focusing right now on anything specific. Sometimes these slow waves, side to side, in and out of something, just gives you just enough ease to transition. Once you feel that sensation around the hips begin to settle, slowly bring those hips back down towards your heels. Letting your shoulders stack over top of the hips. Shoulders resting heavy down away from the ears. You're welcome to place a block underneath your hips if that feels nice. And close the eyes as it feels good. Taking these last few moments to kind of scan the body all the way from the crown of the head, across the chest, into the rib cage, the belly, the hips, the thighs, the base of the pelvis, even into the glutes, and even into the shins, the tops of the feet, and the soles of the feet. Just take 1, 2 breaths here together. Big breath in. Open mouth, exhale, clear it out. Deep inhale, fill up. Open mouth, exhale, clear it out. Seal the lips, come back into a natural pattern of breath. Something that's comfy for you without overthinking. Just let it be as it is. And here is where I'm going to leave you for today's class. As always, thank you so much for being here and practicing and moving with me. If you have any comments, questions, feel free to leave them down below. Like the video, subscribe to my channel. And if there's anything that you hope or want to see, reach out. Let me know. Happy to make those videos for you. As always, have an awesome rest of your day and hope to see you soon.